Hey everybody, and welcome to an episode of Boldly Going, where we explore the stars and all episodes of Star Trek ever created. Well, sort of. We'll see how far we go. We've kind of had some dissertations, but this time we're going to go into the original series again, and we're going to be discussing it with my Film Fanatics cohorts. I've got Dan over there.
Hello.
Justin over here.
How's it going?
I'm, of course, Joe. Some people call me Merlin. And today we're talking about what little girls are made of, which is a very interesting episode that I'm going to have Justin talk about.
Ooh. Mixed it up.
Very interesting, kind of that we already dealt with Evil Kirk, and now we get another shade of Evil Kirk.
Well,
in a way.
In this way, we could say he's more like Robot Kirk.
Well,
which isn't necessarily
let's talk about that, actually.
Please do. Please tell me.
Yet again, we find the Enterprise receiving a distress call of sorts from a certain gentleman who they go down to find, and basically are told, hey, there's some weird stuff that's going on here, but hear us out. It's not as bad as it seems. We'll talk about it. It turns out that basically the gentleman who sent them that distress call has been working on these very, very complicated androids, would you say, Joe?
If we want to get technical, I guess you could say robots. It's fine.
Okay. Very, very advanced robots, human-esque, hard to tell the difference.
Mm-hmm.
And things get overly complicated, and eventually they make Robo-Kirk, who's evil and doesn't eat for obvious reasons because he's a robot. And needless to say, chaos ensues. Mm-hmm. This is a very campy episode, but I like that we're sort of getting back to that return to form after the atrocity that was Mudd's women, otherwise known as Irish Pimp. Sorry, Dan, but
Mustache Pimp,
Irish Mustache Pimp,
well, Space Pimp.
Sorry.
Space Pimp. Yeah.
Getting back on track. The effects are laughable. The choreography is ridiculous at times.
Oh, yeah.
But
classic fights.
It definitely has that TOS charm that I think shines through. It's not as entertaining as when we got Evil Twin Kirk, but it's pretty enjoyable for the duration of it. I'd probably leave this one with a B+.
All right. Sounds good. I wonder what Dan thought about it.
I mean, it was okay. It's really campy.
Too much camp for you.
Well, here's my big problem.
Okay.
You know, I like to sort of think about the product of its time nature of the original show. And at this point in time, people were just realizing, oh, we can do a split screen and have the person play his own evil twin. Uh-huh. You know, Gilligan did it, and Bewitched did it, and you know, all the shows I always mention when we talk about the original Trek. You know, the Patty Duke show was based on it. So. Rest in peace, by the way. Patty Duke just died today. Oh. Anyway, so in that regard, I can't say that it's like doing anything different than what was going on at the time, but it's pretty corny. Cornier than some TOS, maybe not as corny as others. My favorite scene was when Kirk, Evil Kirk, Robot Kirk, whatever, went back and like told off Spock, which brings me to the biggest problem with this episode. Mm-hmm. There's no Spock and no McCoy. I mean, they're in like one scene, and it's really the Kirk show.
Yep.
Well, Kirk and Nurse Chapel show, I guess.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Which is okay, but
let's get some of the rest of that.
I mean,
in there.
You know. That's my favorite scene of the episode for a reason. I thought they could have done more with that, with him going back. I mean, I guess, even at this point, only 7-8 episodes in, they have sort of done that to death already with the somebody being evil, you know, and figuring out on the Enterprise how to deal with it. So at least this one's off the Enterprise. All right. I thought the episode was okay. It's a B-.
Yeah, well, I think this one is pretty standard TOS camp. I think it's a good example of your, you know, what do you expect?
How much is too much?
I don't know. I mean, for me, this one's always been pretty good balance of campy because, I mean, it is pretty silly, but I did genuinely like the story. I mean, a good robot story is fine for sci-fi. I also really like the one henchman that kind of becomes sentient. It's kind of interesting. He's the big guy. He was kind of cool. And, Evil Kirk's always entertaining. Nurse Chapel getting something to do
Finally.
is good. She's a good character. I think, doesn't really get too many episodes focused on her. But, yeah, her dynamic with the scientist was interesting. So it was all right. I'm actually between you guys. I always thought this one was like a B. It's pretty good.
Okay.
Pretty solid, but, it's not the best, but it's, it's entertaining. It's fine.
It's good for what it is.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is. It's pretty... I think of this as a good example of your standard expectation of TOS.
Does Chapel stay on the whole series?
She is, but she...
Because I've never heard of her.
That's interesting because pretty much any time somebody's sick and they go to Dr. McCoy, she'll be there.
I mean, until we started doing this podcast. Obviously,
that's because...
I've seen her on the show before.
She's somebody who... She's like one of those few supporting characters that never really became like a major staple. Like, I don't think she appeared in the movies or anything.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think so.
She might have been
interesting, though.
I think she had a cameo in like one for a second, maybe. But, yeah, she pops up. She's got... Well, it's kind of interesting you say that because really she's... One of her subplots for the series is she kind of has a thing for Mr. Spock, and they kind of go back and forth with that throughout the show. So, yeah, she'll show up quite a few times.
All right.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Always been pretty cool with Nurse Chapel.
I mean, when I think of women on the Enterprise, Uhura is my go-to.
Naturally.
To be completely honest...
Who really hasn't done much since we've been watching it.
Not the karaoke hour?
Well, that was the only thing.
This is the thing. Based upon my memory, I honestly think Nurse Chapel probably has more character stuff than Uhura ever does.
Wow.
Uhura probably has... Uhura definitely has things she does in certain episodes. Like, I know Mirror Mirror, she does some pretty cool stuff. But in terms of, like, some actual expository character moments...
Not yet.
Nurse Chapel...
Okay.
It's funny, because Nurse Chapel does that with Spock in the original. And now in the movies, Uhura basically does what Nurse Chapel did with Spock. But she's Uhura and more people know her.
Right.
But really, they just kind of exchanged it, so...
Huh.
I don't know. That's
interesting.
Yeah, but no, Nurse Chapel's a good character.
Okay.
She's got some good episodes. Spock and her have some more,
Intimate moments.
Intimate moments, yeah. You could say
So
that.
there was never a Uhura and Spock?
No, that's totally
Abrams'
that's
series.
one of the reasons why when it came out, they were like, what? I mean, to be fair, there are little moments where Spock is, like, nice to her, and Uhura and Spock get along, but, I mean, it's not like there ever was
Well, the
romance.
reason I bring that up is going back to one of the earlier episodes, she was the one that was mentioning, like, why don't you feel anything
Well, because...
to Mr. Spock.
Earlier on, I guess she's getting to know Mr. Spock, and you can even tell subtly that the characters might not know each other as well. Like, you'll notice in the earlier episodes, some of the other characters might not really know how to feel about Spock or act around him, but as you go along, they'll develop more of a relationship, which is interesting because as episodic as the show is, there is kind of a sense that these people do stay with each other for a while, which is why by the movies, they're all like a big family.
Well, right.
So, it works somehow. I don't know how, but actually, it's funny. I was watching a little brief stint with George Takei, and he was talking about one of the great things about Star Trek for him was that all the people in the cast became friends for life. So maybe off-screen as well, that chemistry was strong. So, maybe that's why it
On
works.
and off with Shatner.
On and off with Shatner, but, with a few people with Shatner, I guess.
True.
Takei, I don't know. I think he just likes to mess with Shatner and get reactions out of him at this point.
Oh, I'm sure. At this point,
At this point.
I would agree.
But the Howard Stern interviews are funny. When it's like,
oh yeah,
we're going to get you to talk about it right now. No, I want to talk with you. Come to my show. Yeah, those are funny. But anyway, I'm glad you guys kind of like this one.
Yeah.
Next time we get to dive back into Next Gen, plugging through season 1. We're going to do it. Get through the greats. No. But it's okay. We'll
get to the greats eventually.
Here's hoping.
They're pretty sure there is an important data episode coming soon.
Awesome.
Hoping. There is a lot of holograms and stuff, and holodeck. They love the holodeck in the early Next Gen.
Yeah,
so
they do.
You'll see that plenty of times. But let us know what you thought about this episode, guys, and thoughts about future ones. And say goodbye, everybody.
See ya.
Till the next time.